Hello, welcome to the latest show at Crossing Arts. My name is Nick DeVries. I'm on the gallery committee here with the organization, and tonight I'm here with Darcy Brambrink. Darcy is a painter. We're sitting right in front of one of her gorgeous pieces here. We've got a nice, small, intimate crowd tonight, so we're going to do a little conversation, and then if some of these people want to ask you some pointed questions, maybe they can. So, Darcy, what got you into painting? We've been chatting a little bit here. How'd you find yourself here doing this?
You mean here?
Well, I mean, yeah, you want to go through the whole art, but just like your entree into painting. What grabbed you about art? What did it get you at some point?
Just at a very, very young age.
Okay.
I was probably 5 or 6 years old, and you get a color book, and my dad was an artist, and he never sold art, but he'd make art for family. And I would be coloring an apple or a pumpkin or something, and he'd say, an apple isn't all red. And I'd go, huh? And he'd show me how to shade it, and he'd say, there's spots on the apple. So every picture in a color book was not like normal. It was like a work of art, by the time you were done. And once a week we got a color book, so it was continually all the time. And then when I was 15, 16 years old, I started to get into painting, and I liked that very much, and I was in some junior competitions for watercolor, and never placed, but got some nice ribbons, and this was very nice, that sort of thing. And then I kind of sloughed off for a lot of years and didn't do a whole lot of anything but run a business, helped my husband with a dairy farm, raised a family, went to work, and then on my spare time I would just sit and doodle and doodle and doodle. And I thought someday I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna just paint till I just, explode. So when we moved up here in 2019, a few years before that, I started to kind of build the watercolor and get going. And when we got up here in 2019, then I joined a small gallery in Bemidji. And I networked with a bunch of other artists and really got into it. I belong to Leech Lake Arts League. We paint once a week. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't paint.
Okay.
So it's at least almost 60 years.
Yeah.
Of doing one form or another.
Yeah, of having, it sounds like, it's interesting that the really early education must have really stuck, because these, to me, don't read as paintings from somebody who's been painting for 6-7 years.
Okay.
Which it sounds like is kind of the bulk of where you've been focusing.
Right.
I hear dairy farms are quite the business to take care of.
Yeah, no vacation.
No vacation, those cows gotta be taken care of every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what we see behind us here, and we don't have the visual cues from some of the other pieces, but you have a little bit of a range of stylistic, from almost the atelier sort of soft focus to a little more of post-impressionist.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about kind of what drives you and what your interests are in painting?
Well, my main focus is landscaping. I like to do landscapes. It's very, very rare for me to do a still life.
Okay.
I used to do a lot of still life when I first started working with oils and acrylics, and I got just kind of in a funk, it was like the same thing. It was like a basket of flowers or a bowl of fruit or whatever, and then I just kind of went, that's kind of go away. So when we moved up here, it's breathtaking in northern Minnesota, especially between Walker and Bemidji.
So where did you move from?
St. Cloud.
Okay.
And I'm not saying the farm was dull or not nice or anything. There's probably plenty of opportunities to do things there too, but I just kind of wanted to do more things with nature. But what strikes me is colors in different colors of the seasons, or at the certain time of a day.
Sure.
Like one part of the day might be totally green, and towards evening it's orange. So, if my paintings reflect that, it might be a certain time of a day that I had it in my mind or saw that color, and it just kind of stuck.
Yeah, kind of that impressionistic
Correct.
kind of interaction with the environment. And are you then painting plein air? Are you out Or are you sort of like snapping it in your brain and then painting?
I've been snapping a lot of things in my brain.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to do way more plein air. That's my focus this year, is really getting out there and going out to the parks or, trails and just sitting
Sure.
down and, people ride by you on a bike and go, oh, what the heck are you doing? But, I think I'm gonna try to get
And
into.
will you bring the oils out, or will that be watercolor?
I think I might do both.
Okay,
I might do both. I'm definitely gonna start doing more into a sketchbook first. Was one
Sure.
thing I never really got into was sketching out what I wanted to do first.
okay.
So that's one of my goals this year.
Got some good art goals, huh?
Yeah.
And you do watercolor as well, correct?
Mhm.
I know that we had some in the collection and we hung, I think, most of the oils.
Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit about the difference between those two mediums for you? And is it sort of like, on this day I just felt like watercoloring, and are you sometimes doing them both simultaneously?
No.
Okay, yeah.
I usually do one or the other. The last few days I've just been working on watercolors, but there's definitely a difference between watercolor and oil or acrylic or soft pastel. I actually work on some soft pastels
Okay.
too. That's a real challenge. But the watercolor is something that takes up more of a thought process, because once the water goes down and the pigment goes down, you can't say no.
Yeah,
It's
done.
there.
You get maybe
You
a
can,
half a second
I
to...
know how to get it off a little bit or work
Sure.
over it, but most people would get discouraged and go like this and toss it away.
Yeah.
Whereas, something like this, you sketch it out, you can paint it, you can leave it dry for a couple of weeks and go, I don't like the color of those flowers. I'm gonna go right over the top of them and I'm gonna change everything. And I have been known to take pieces like this and totally paint right over the top of everything and start over. Because I just I can't even look at that.
Then you get rid of it, then...
Yeah,
no one can
and
see
I
it.
have a few that I've done so many times, they're so layered. They're like stacked up and crunchy and,
You can see the other
you can
underpainting.
see a little bit, and sometimes I look at it and think, I could turn this into something else, because I'm like a repurpose
Nice.
kind of person, so.
So you're working with some of the local organizations in Bemidji. This is your first showing here with Press
Yes, it is, and it's very nice.
Yeah, and you've got a workshop on the way here that you're going to be teaching. Your goals for this year are some like plein air. Anything else that you kind of are hoping for in the next 2 to 3 years, or you have other goals in mind?
Yeah, I really want to get into more soft pastel.
Okay.
I really want to learn.
You want to work with an even more challenging.
Yeah, and I'd
medium.
like to, hook up with an instructor and
Okay.
take some classes
Yeah. Great.
on that too.
Well, does anyone here in our little crowd tonight have any questions? We've got this lovely March, I guess, evening sun coming in. So, anyone have questions for Darcy?
I do. When you're talking about the different colors, have you ever done the same painting twice, but morning and night type of thing?
Not morning and night, but I've actually had to reproduce a painting many times because I sell online, and I have one painting that I consistently sell over and over and over and over again. And I sell many prints every year of that painting. And that one I've done so many times too, because I get requests to reproduce the original. And I always tell people, it is not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. And I can do it, and the first time I did that painting, it probably took me a week, and I can do it now in probably 40 minutes. Because I've done it so many times. So yes, but I've never done, I've thought about that actually, to do it morning and night. And I've never actually done anything with a night scene. So that's always kind of scared me, I guess, so.
So do you have that painting that you said that you would do over and over again? Is that represented here?
I don't know if I brought a print of it in here or not, but my husband knows. Because I get an order and I go, oh, they want one of those. But they pay really good, so I'm like, yeah, I'll get it done, So, and they're always, it's great, it looks just like the other one, and I thought, nah, it's not like the first one. And I do not own the first one. It sold, and I, to this day, could kick myself that I sold that painting, because I have made more money on that painting in prints. It's unbelievable.
Tell us a little about the,
It's called Seaside Cottages. And all it is 3 little houses that sit along a bay with some sailboats in the back and this water and some trees in the back. And it's in whites and blues.
And is it watercolor or?
It's a
oil?
watercolor.
Okay.
It's a watercolor. And I just kind of sketched it out one day in my old house in my office where I used to work, and did it out, and I went, oh, this is really pretty, and I put it on Etsy, and bang, it was gone in like 2 days. And I was like, oh, well, I can do prints of it. And most artists will tell you, especially watercolor artists, that the real money is in prints. I've made a lot of money off that one paint, but I still wish I had it back. So.
cool.
Any other questions for Darcy tonight, or should we wrap it up?
I'm excited to take your class Sunday.
Oh, I'm excited that you're gonna be there.
All
I
right.
think it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, that's it. Thank you, everyone, for showing up tonight, and
Thank you, Darcy.
thank you, Darcy.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. This is really nice. Thank you.
Definitely.